All right, so I'm going to redo this again. Sorry about that. But we have some really overzealous people. I'm not part of the resistance. I'm not. Yeah. It's, yeah. What's going on is that you're going to have to figure out how you're going to survive this. And Ron doesn't get it. They think that resistance is the only way. And it's not. And so I had to kind of nip that in the bud. I don't think he'll ever be going on here anymore. But, when Ron's solution is to be in an off-grid community away from the smart cities, is he not even watching the weather? Does he not understand what happened to Lahaina? I mean, are you kidding me? The system already knows how you're going to react. They already know people have tried the smart cities. They already know this shit. Or not smart cities, the off-gridding communities. They already know that shit. And so the system is now trying to get away from all those who are resisting. And I'm going to say that when I watched that Netflix show about the Boston bombing and how that kid was allegedly set up to fail, to be the patsy, because we know about crisis acting and all that stuff. We don't know if it was a crisis acting situation that turned real, and then they spied him going down the street as if he was in some kind of acting, but it looked real because you can't tell. You don't know people's intentions. You don't know what they were told, but all you see is a video. That's the power of the U.S. government. That's the power of the New World Order. That's the power of the system developing perceptions. That's the power of psychological operations. Then you realize who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with your everyday dude that wants to resist someone doing or saying something. No, you're dealing with some people who are not say evil. I don't even say that they're not evil. They're just they strategize against resistors. They know how to quell resistance. And they know what people's reactions are. They know. Okay? And so I'll just pick up where I left off. I'm not going to go back to the beginning. So I'll put that video. Those two videos will be together, and I'll put that on my website and on YouTube. But he tried to friend request me, and then I guess he blocked me. I don't know what the fuck. I don't understand why you'd block me. But your resistance is not my resistance. I'm sorry. I'm not part of your world. Now I'm trying to help people survive this and fucking survive this. Because it's a two-layered thing. And so, yeah, there's these FEMA trailers. And the Invest 95 coming through. And, yeah, something's going to be devastated. They're even saying that Haiti, people need to get out of Haiti because once they assassinated that president and that place has gone to shit, they're like, get out of Haiti. Anyone that's an official in America, because you know they're going to get hit by hurricanes. They're going to be washed away. Remember what happened to the giants through Noah's flood? The Nephilim? Remember that in the Bible stories? When you have groups of people who overthrow their own type of organized situation, they can't be reasoned with. Obviously, they can't be controlled. And they're going to be a nuisance. They're going to want to steal other people's shit. You've seen the pirates out there that were pirating ships. Okay? The system is cleaning up all the children who can't fucking get it together. So you think Haiti is going to be immune to any of this? No. They're going to have fires, floods, wind, rain, hurricanes, cyclones. Oh yeah, Haiti is right there in the crosshairs. Because they can't seem to get it together. They've been given so many chances to have some kind of organization and they don't want it. They want to be fucking anarchic, okay? That's not going to work. If you stayed within your own confines, you didn't leave your little town or your little island, great. But no, they make ships and they go and pirate other people, kidnap for ransom. Now you see why things are happening the way they're happening? That's some crazy shit. That's some crazy shit. You cannot resist. And here I hear this. Yes, one laser. And they can wipe out 1,000 at a time when it's full. Whoops, it was natural. This is about the condos, the smart city condos. If you're Section 8, if you're a drug addict, if you're retired and you're living off of Social Security, if you're not a contributing member of society and they have you in an area where all of your like kind is in one area, oh, there's a fire over here. I've heard about fires in my town. This whole complex went up in flames. How did it happen? We don't fucking know. We can speculate, oh, it was like faulty gas meters, faulty electricity. Who's to fucking say, right? If you're already in an inner city and in your own house and you're not around too much much Mother Nature, like a lot of biodiversity, just stay put. Like where I'm at, I'm staying put. When people are being moved from their rural area and they're put in condos like these, well, there you go. I would rather be in a house. Do I think my house where I live has a better possibility of surviving than other places? Absolutely, especially from Florida, yeah. Put me against Florida, fuck yeah, I'll survive more than Florida will. I would rather be in a house. Do I think my house where I live has a better possibility of surviving than other places? I would not want to be in a condo living. I would not want to be retired. I would not want to be on some kind of Section 8 housing, like a building full of Section 8 people, which is basically like a welfare. What do you think, hey John, what do you think the system wants to rid of itself of? What do you think the system wants to rid of itself of? What they deem is useless eaters. Figure out your contribution in this world. Figure it out very fucking fast. Figure out how your neighborhoods are laid out. What buildings hold what kind of people. What kind of socioeconomic status they hold. Nothing is 100%. The system will find a way to draw out where they deem is undesirable. Figure out your place in this world. This is why you can't resist. This is why you have to now prove. And how do you prove? Well, it's my husband works hard. He works for a company. We have our own house. We have our own yard. We pay taxes. We're in a smart city when you think about it. We're doing stuff online. We're not resisting when they go, yeah, I'll put cash under your fucking pillow and shit like that. I'm not rabble-rousing anyone. I stay to myself. Okay? And so that's the only thing that I can think of. I mean, it's like a social credit system. When you think about how easy fires can happen, how easy shit can happen. I am the eye in the sky, looking at you. I can cheat you. That whole song, Alan Parsons Project, I'm the eye in the sky. Everybody's fucking watching you. Who are you gonna fucking be? Everything you put on Facebook, they're watching everything. They know where you live, they know what you believe in, they know what you're buying, they know what you're fucking saying, they know who you follow, they know who you worship. Now you better develop your own thought process and find a way to be around people who are contributing members of society. Be around people who are not resisting what's going on. Now it's time to be around people who are not also oblivious. They're like, oh no, Jillian's stupid. I'm going to stay right here in Florida, knowing that's going to get decimated at some point with so many hurricanes. Okay? But you sound so extreme because I know what's going on. They're not doing World War II. But there's still got to be some kind of organization, purpose to all this. You don't just take out just everybody. You don't just take out all the smart contributing members of society and keep all the fucking rabble-rousers. Then what? You start over again? What sense is that when they've put so much money in me and how I was raised? They put so much money in me in my community. They're not going to fucking waste that. But they'll find those that don't care about who they are. They don't care about the future. They don't care about anything. They're racist or intolerant. And so if that's how you are and you're a contributing member of society and you don't want to take any information like my information, then you'll go to the medical holistic system, because the Weather Underground infiltrated the medical holistic system. And so the enemy is all around you. They're giving you their pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes, and food mitigation, and starvation. So there's ways of which you can destroy yourself. And there's ways the government can figure out how to draw out the undesirables. And they will draw themselves out. They will put themselves on display. Be careful who you follow. Be careful who you worship. It's freaking crazy. And so I got my book, Prairie Fire, right on Proletariat Day. Right on Proletariat Day, right? The working man's day, Labor Day. We are already Marxist here. We already are communist here in America. Time to read and learn. It's kind of interesting that my book is called Another Arm of the Hydra, as this book, Prairie Fire, is trying to cut off the tentacle of imperialism. The irony is that the British Empire, when you think about it, and all that work together, they are colonizing everybody. They have. But not really, because they've pulled out of most places. And now there's no more colonialism, no more imperialism. Now it's weather warfare. Will South America survive the fire, floods, and storms and frequencies? Will Mexico survive tornadoes and or volcanoes? Will Saudi Arabia survive their inclement weather? Will all the continents out there survive the changes going on? And so, yeah, there's no more imperialism or colonization. Hey, have your religion, have your science, have your whatever. Go be out there in the sticks. Go be an off-gridder. Will you be able to handle a flash flood when your whole fucking encampment gets washed away by a fucking flash flood? You think Burning Man people were expecting to be rained out and mudded out like that? No. That's a type of off-gridding. So I'm saying that guy Ron does not get it. He does not fucking get it. I'm not promoting resistance at all whatsoever because it's fucking pointless. It's now survival and strategizing. And so yesterday I was reading part of the book and I said, ironic, and yet here we are, Lahaina. If you can read the first paragraph, you'll understand where I'm coming from. So, what was that? The imperialism now controls the means by which these necessities of survival get produced and distributed. They determine what gets produced, at what cost in human effort under the conditions, and who gets what produced. This is complete control over people's lives. It is economic poverty, and far more. It involves and implicates people in a system over which they have little control. A system which includes unprecedented slaughter through continuous wars, genocide, the violent suppression of blacks, Puerto Ricans, Chicanos, and Indian people, the subjugation of women, daily control and extraction of maximum profit from the people's work, the development of a fantastic arsenal of weapons, including nuclear arms, in the control of the imperialists. It intimately affects day-to-day behaviors, thoughts, values, potentials, and hopes. Only the pressure of the struggle of the masses of the people's humanitarian, this system at all. And the print is so strong that they're so small. That's why I have to read it slowly, because it's very small. That's why I couldn't read it online. I was like, geez. It is an illusion that imperialism will decay peacefully. Imperialism has many constant wars. Imperialists defend their control of their means of life with terrible force. There is no reason to believe they will become humane or relinquish power. As a matter as matters deteriorate for imperialism, there's every reason to believe they will tighten control, pass their contradictions onto the people, and struggle for every bit of power, for last bit of power, to not prepare the people for the struggles and to disarm them ideologically and physically, and to perpetrate a cruel hoax. So that's why I said it's ironic that and yet here we are, right? Lahaina. If you can read the first paragraph, you'll understand where I'm coming from. The Weather Underground turned into the very thing they were against. I can't help but notice a pattern. The redcoats marching in formation, and the revolutionaries were picking off the redcoats. I'm thinking of the story of Johnny Tremaine, guerrilla warfare. Then I'm thinking of Forrest Gump, troops marching in formation in the bushes of Vietnam, at least together, and then the North Vietnamese ambushing the troops, booby traps under babies. I can't help but notice the pattern. When the left finally stop trying to work outside the system, they work within the system. And so the guerrilla warfare tactics are interwoven into the everyday expectations, such as the hospital system, the holistic system, and they hide in plain sight with all the supplements they sell. Okay? The art of war, mask the enemy, make them think you care about them, sell them relief, sell them the easy way out, make them soft. Resistance is war. Radicalize people into resistance, make them think that you are their friend. Declare war on someone so that way they declare war back. Get them in the struggle. They'll never win because when you struggle so much and resist, you lose power. You waste valuable time. On top of that, people don't want to resist. Get them so comfortable in their lifestyle. Make them soft. Make their children soft. Now you see how shit works. Oh, wow. And here's the thing. There is nothing that I'm saying that isn't in plain sight. And there's nothing I'm saying that they don't already want you to know. They want you to make the choice. They don't want you to say, you made me do this. They don't want you to bring back World War II because they're not. They want you to note and notice everything. And if you can't handle the information, you will stay stuck. Fucking brilliant. Which means I can speak my mind. And I have absolutely no expectation you follow me or even believe what I say. And history is a lesson. And there's no one to blame. For every person you think is at fault, there is someone behind him to always replace him. The system knows just how difficult it is to break habits. They know how difficult it is for people to change. They know people do not even believe anything bad could happen. They can't even believe they're a part of something so much bigger and worse than what they ever imagined. And they don't even have to believe it because they have religion, they have politics, they have science, and 1,000 different stories they can adopt. So they feel okay with the outcome, with never, ever changing. You know why it's so easy for me to accept what's going on? And it's not just accepting what's going on and dying happy. I don't ever want to die voluntarily. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to resist. I want to feel the pain of life. I can handle watching the system change. I can handle people making their own choices. And I'm not blaming anyone. I have no fucking enemies. The system already told me what they were doing because I read it between the lines. I was open enough to read between the lines. Do you know why I'm not resisting or mad about anything? Because I've released my demons. Now it's just been very adept at dodging the lightning strikes. And even though everything is out of my hands, I don't know what to expect. I will continue to do the best I can to adapt to whatever and accept whatever outcome I need to accept if it's out of my hands. In a way, it is surrendering. Because what are you going to fight against? There's nothing to fight against. You can't fight the weather. And you can only extricate yourself from people who are deadly. You can only say, I'm not going to use remedies and surgeries and pills and powders and supplements. And I'm not going to starve myself from meat, milk, cheese, eggs, and fruits and vegetables. And I'm going to pay attention to what they're saying and not saying. Who's they? The system. And I'm going to make the best fucking choices possible. I'm going to stay home and stay safe because I ain't going to be out there playing these games with people. Oh, I'm going to fucking resist. Okay. Because when the system finally is going to have the 15-minute cities, and people will be segregated based upon so many different things, and you don't know what those things are. Then you just hope that you survive. And that's really what it comes down to. Because at some point, it will be out of your control. Come what may. And so, yeah, there is a major hurricane brewing in the Atlantic. And it could be a Cat 5. And so I said, just think of yourself as a cockroach. Cockroaches are extremely strong and can survive, so many nuclear blasts in all types of environments. cockroaches understand patterns. They know when to get out of harm's way, and they are way more resilient, and they are strategic. You have to be fast, flexible, and durable. Cockroaches don't resist. They adapt to their situation, and they have enough substance to survive without food and water for a certain amount of time. What's the key thing about survivability? The ability to adapt and evolve and listen to indicators. Cockroaches are flexible, durable, and fast, traits attributed to their longevity. They're able to fit into tiny spaces and hold their breath for a long time. Additionally, roaches can last more than a month without food, over a week without water. Okay? So understand what's going on. I mean, you're not going to be like a cockroach over a month without food and a week without water, because you'll probably die. But if you're in like Florida and you're told to evacuate and then told, well, maybe you need to go to higher ground, and maybe you need to be bussed out of there or flown out of there, and now you're in a FEMA camp. Hey, be glad you're in a FEMA camp with MREs, and then you're given this, and this to live in, and you do the best to survive, and try not to resist what's going on, and try not to be a rabble-rouser, and find a way to surrender, because that's basically what's left, is surrendering. Or is it victory or death, right? If you choose death, thank you for your service. If you choose victory, I hope you survive. So I'm asking Bing, did they teach prairie fire in high school? And Bing's like, you're not very specific. And so, so do they teach the Communist Manifesto Prairie Fire in high school? So then the Bing said, I doubt that they taught the Communist Manifesto Prairie Fire in high school. Since I didn't go to high school, okay, so I don't know what the fuck they taught. Since it is a very radical, controversial document that was written by the members of the Weather Underground, a violent anti-imperialist group that bombed government buildings in the 1970s. The manifesto, which was published in 1974, when I was born, declared that the authors were communists who wanted to overthrow the American government and start a revolution in alliance with the Third World Liberation Movement. The manifesto was named after a quote from Mao Zedong, who said that a single spark can set a prairie fire, as an analogy for revolution. The manifesto drew on Maoist and Marxist-Leninist philosophy and advocated for a mix of mass organizing and clandestine revolutionary violence. Wow. The manifesto was distributed in radical bookstores, food co-ops, head shops, and college campuses, okay? But it was met with mixed reactions from the left. Some agreed with analysis and strategy, while others criticized it for being dogmatic, sectarian, and unrealistic. Okay, so even the left is split. The manifesto also caused a split within the Weather Underground, with some members forming the Prairie Fire Collective, which favored mass-based above-ground revolutionary politics, and others forming the May 19th Communist Organization, which remained underground and carried out the infamous Brinks robbery in 1981. Yeah. Which favored the mass-based above-ground okay. So some believed that they should do things intellectually. Other things thought they should do things physically or violently. And obviously violence is not the answer, because then you get all out war and destruction. And I think the Weather Underground people who did that finally realized when they were put in jail for that. And they're like, oh, who's the Third World Liberation Movement? These are things I don't even fucking know, right? The Third World Liberation Movement is a term that can refer to various social and political movements that emerged in the second half of the 20th century in Africa, Asia, Latin America, seeking to end colonialism, imperialism, racism, and oppression. The term Third World was originally used to describe the countries that were not aligned with either the Western Bloc, led by the United States, or the Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union, during the Cold War, but later came to signify the common struggles and aspirations of the peoples of the global South. One of the most influential expressions of the Third World Liberation Movement was the Bandung Conference of 1955, which brought together leaders from 29 Asian and African countries to discuss cooperation and solidarity against colonialism and neo-colonialism. The conference also inspired the formation of the Non-Aligned Movement, which aimed to maintain a neutral stance in the Cold War and promote peaceful coexistence and mutual respect among nations. Okay. Another example of the Third World Liberation Movement was the Third World Liberation Front, okay, which was a coalition of ethnic student groups on college campuses in California in 1968 and 1969. The TWLF demanded a radical transformation of education that would reflect and serve the needs and interests of the communities of color. The TWLF led strikes and protests at San Francisco State University and UC Berkeley, resulting in the creation of ethnic studies and African American studies academic disciplines. And I've lived in San Francisco State University, yeah, SFSU, UC Berkeley, yeah. Wow. See, when you're in it and you don't understand the history of it because you're trying to survive even all your fucking programming, then when you're finally like in a peaceful space and by peaceful body, mind, and spirit, you can learn about fucking history, and it's awesome. Then you understand why what's happening now is happening, okay? It's not that they want to completely genocide the world. They're just trying to take out the people who are intolerant, who are resistors, who can't seem to figure out how to coalesce and bring together and unite. And so when Meta asked me to do a survey, and they're like, does Facebook bring people together? And what did I say? I said, yeah, it does. People are like, no, it doesn't, because you're censoring information. No, what they're censoring are people's intolerances. They're censoring people who are putting out misinformation, mischaracterizing things. Well, yeah, okay, I understand freaking Hawaii and everyone's speculating stuff. What's going on as far as the weather wars is everyone's getting a taste. It's not just one side targeting another side. It's a small collective giving everyone equal chance to play the Hunger Games and to battle it out, but not with each other, but to strategize their survival. It's a game. You're in a game. You really are in a game. Okay? So, yeah. And maybe the Hawaiians were not ready to evolve. That's the only thing I can say. And so, if you're a burnout, a drug addict, an indigent, and you're going to places like Burning Man, obviously that's undesirable. What are you contributing to society? Except to do drugs and play these games that they play, and so now they're all having to shelter in place. They can't even leave that place because there's so much mud. So they're there for who knows how long. I would not at all participate in any more of these concerts because of the frequencies. I would not go. I've never been to Burning Man ever. I'm not playing any of that shit. I'm not going on vacation right now. I know what's going on. I'm not doing shit right now. I'm hunkering down. Spain is in chaos right now. Downpours, Dana storms, whatever what that means. Dana storms turn the country into a disaster storm or a disaster zone. And so what does the system want as far as smart cities? You can have your culture, but it must be done in a uniform way. Your culture must be presented online, not so much in your community behind closed doors. If you're in the West, not so much in your community, it has to be online. And if you're in other countries and they're not under any type of crazy global warming or floods, fires, and frequencies, practice your culture. But even Saudi Arabia is not immune. Dubai is not immune. If you're off greeting somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere, you're not immune to the global warming and the crazy weather. I have a feeling antiquated countries will not be able to practice their culture physically, only online, or through the smart cities, same thing. I rebelled so much as a kid, and even the last 7 years. Then you realize there is no benefit in resistance or rebellion. People say if you make it through the first line of fire, you will survive. So somebody on the reels was saying, and he had a beard, he was talking about actual physical hand-to-hand combat warfare, like the British when they had the organized lines of soldiers One kneeled, the other one didn't, and they shot. And so, no, we're not doing that. Guerrillas pick off the organized warfare. People say if you make it through the first line of fire, you will survive. When you're set up in a battle type situation and you have been forced into the lines of fire, no, that's just playing gladiator with people's lives. That analogy does not work. That analogy does not work. When you've been forced into a battle of type situation, they expect a certain amount of casualties. Right now, right fucking now, you are in a battle of defense. The strategy to save yourself in body, in mind, and in spirit. In body, it can mean your diseases. It can mean also your environment, where you're living. The indicators are telling you where the optimal place to live to save yourself. And even then, when things are getting crazy, follow where the government tells you to go and hope that you are not following them into something, but you'll never fucking know until it happens. That's what I'm saying. Be the best person. Be around people who are not rabble-rousers and resistors, because you will be grouped into people and you never know if that FEMA camp might not be under some kind of fucking fire. Okay? Strategy to save yourself. And that's pretty much it. But yeah. So there's going to be layers and layers and layers. And I can't assume I'll be safe 100% where I'm at. But you got to think of how much money they've put into people. Okay? How much money they've put into communities. If they wanted you all be dead, you would be. But they're not going to give you... I mean, you have to figure out, when they talk about useless leaders, again, who are the useless leaders? Those who are not contributing to society, those who are rebelling, those who are resisting, those who are intolerant, who are racist. Those... Could you be re-educated? Well, we'll see. What are you posting on Facebook? Who are you posting on Facebook? Who are you worshiping? Who do you idolize? Who do you follow? And who's to say that one day your house doesn't go up in flames because of a faulty gas line or a faulty electricity? No one knows how you take care of shit. That's what I'm saying. You don't know. So might as well be the best person you can be. And be careful of following people who are resisting. Be very careful. And that's why I'm saying, as I'm talking to Facebook, I'm not resisting. I don't entertain resistors. I am not trying to galvanize anyone. I'm trying to give them the best way they can survive this and be the best citizen. I release my demons. I don't want children, and I'm not racist. And I study and I want to learn who people are, what they're about, and I'm not declaring war on anybody, and I'm not a bully to anyone. Can you say the same thing about yourself? Bye.